Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here at the Hannover Fair of 2023. You are at the Public Forum for Hydrogen and Fuel Cells Europe, where we have plenty of interesting guests, plenty of interesting discussions. You're always welcome to join the discussion by raising your hand. I will come to you with the microphone in case you have any questions for our guests. So take a seat in case you haven't already and grab a drink. My name is Mareike Schmalz, and the next topic on stage will be Atlas Copco in the hydrogen value chain. My guest is Alfonso Peschiera. He is the Global Product Manager for high-pressure gases.
Nice to be here as well. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the introduction as well.
Yeah, nice to have you here. Have a seat.
Thank you.
So, do you enjoy the fair so far?
Yeah, so far I think it's a good spirit. A lot of interaction, a lot of new projects, a lot of new, let's say, customers and suppliers, new partners in this business. And it's really nice to see the story of the expo. Like we heard on Monday, 20 years ago it was much smaller. Now to see it so much larger with so many more people from all over the world, I think it's very inspiring.
Yeah, definitely. We have a long-standing history, but we never were this size. This amount of people, this amount of companies. We're super happy looking at the development that we see for the fair and for the technology.
Indeed.
And I'm happy to learn a bit more about what Atlas Copco is doing in this field. So to give the audience a little bit of background, Atlas Copco is a large company with a long-standing history in many business areas. But today we will be particularly talking about your activities in the hydrogen value chain. So just tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. First, a bit of context. Let's say Atlas Copco, it's an old company, you're right. We are turning 150 this year. So it's a special year for us to celebrate. And we're, let's say, happy to be here to also kind of celebrate it a bit in this forum. And we have a long history of, let's say, energy efficient solutions. We will always focus on bringing energy efficiency to our customers. We do that by making, let's say, very technologically advanced products, and our main business areas have always been compression, industrial tools, mobile applications, and now more recently vacuum also. So this is a bit historically the context for Atlas Copco. We're present all over the world, but lately we decided to take also a bit of a next step in helping our customers reduce their CO2 emissions and become more sustainable in the way they operate, by targeting gas compression in principle. So this includes obviously hydrogen, that's why we're here, but also some of the other gases that are related to the energy transition, CO2 in carbon capture operations, some flue gases of course related to that, biogas, CNG, and some other gases that kind of round up the environment of energy transition.
Yeah, that's a big portfolio.
Indeed.
And I'm happy that you're also now in the hydrogen value chain. So you contribute not only to the hydrogen production, but also to the transport and the usage. Where do you see the biggest challenges in the field?
True. We are active, as you mentioned, in all processes where hydrogen needs to be compressed, which is almost all. Today, with such a light molecule, we really need to compress it to utilize it. So today, I would say the biggest challenge we face, and it's a bit a compressor-centric point of view, because, okay, we do compressors finally, it's a bit on scalability. I think this is a challenge, how to scale up to the size of the installations that are being foreseen. So when we start talking about gigawatt-size electrolyzers or several gigawatt-size installations, then the logic of the compression system becomes non-trivial. I think we have challenges on the scalability of compression technologies, which we don't find with other gases, right? So normally if you ask anybody, what do you do if you need very large compression systems? You go centrifugal. For hydrogen, this is always tricky. So that is one of the main challenges we find once we go large or more dedicated into the hydrogen world. And another one that I think is important to have in mind is related to safety. I think safety is very important in the hydrogen world. And I think regulations and regulating entities are still catching up with the diversity of applications and uses of hydrogen today. So I think the market, the way of using hydrogen is pushing the regulations a bit to the limit. And I think we need to also work together with some of these entities to bring it more to usability. So these are some of the largest challenges we see on the day-to-day business.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, yeah, safety of course is an issue, and as you just said, hydrogen is the smallest element in the universe. So that's definitely a tricky thing, and a thing we have to work on. So we can't change the fact that it's the smallest, but we have to maintain it basically in a safe way. So regarding sustainability, I guess that's what drives all of us. How important is that for you at Atlas Copco, and how does it shape your actions?
True. It's a good question. And I'm lucky you asked it, because for many years our slogan has been sustainable productivity in Atlas Copco. So we committed to give sustainable ways of producing to our customers, whatever they were doing. And in many ways we meant it, we were there for the long term, or to make their operations long term, sustainably long term, let's say. And this today is quite related to, let's say, environmental sustainability, so working with customers in applications that are also sustainable for the environment, CO2, hydrogen, and such applications, being more efficient for them, so increasing the efficiency of their installations. Now we have a lot of new technologies, a lot of new developments to increase that, so this is sustainable. And normally this is where the question goes, where we discuss sustainability, energy efficiency, decreasing cost of operation, reducing carbon emissions. But we also want to focus on sustainability in relationship with our customers. So we think for these markets, especially emerging applications like hydrogen, a long-term relationship with the customers are key, because it's everything so new that you need a good partner in service, let's say. And service is something that I think sometimes is overlooked. We move so fast on new technologies, we move so fast on new developments, that we only focus on the kind of the cutting edge, right? It's important, but I think also a good service partner that is there every day, every week, every year, so on, is important to make the operations also useful, reliable, and sustainable long term. So this is for us also sustainability, the long-term relationship with customers, but also with partners. We work very well with suppliers, let's say, and I think in the hydrogen world this is also relevant. Communication between different parts of the value chain is today, I would say, decisive for the success of hydrogen.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's really nice that you took the topic of sustainability further. It's not only about energy, it's not only about CO2 emissions, it's also about the sustainability of the relationships that we build in business, between people, between companies, between partners.
And operations, right? Because we work in these plants, people build these plants, electrolysis plants, green ammonia or whatever. We want to make them work for long term, right? So I think having the most efficient is good. Having a very nice product is also good. We do that. But we also want that this plant works for 20, 30, whatever years it's in operation. And their service, I think, is key.
Yeah, wonderful. So I would also invite the audience to ask questions in case there are any. Any questions from the audience right now? Doesn't look like it, but I do have plenty of questions for you. So what role do you ascribe to hydrogen within our future economy and our daily lives? What do you think? What will the future look like, and what does it mean for your company?
I think, and here is also kind of a dream, let's say. I think hydrogen will be quite integrated with our daily lives, right? So we see it, I think, today as a new technology, something to be used in some special cases, special applications, obviously carbon reduction and so on. But I think we forget many of the how exposed or how linked we are already to some gas distribution systems. So many of us have natural gas in our houses. We take it a bit for granted. But something like this, of having integrated hydrogen at such a granular level in the society, I think it's expectable and realistic for the future, and I hope this is how it will go. But I think it will also take a much more, I would say, integral role in the energy architecture of the future. Today, for sure, this is the way that hopefully many of the colleagues here are focusing on it, and I think it's a clear strategic link between, in the end, the chemical industry, the raw material industry, and the energy industry. And I think this is the strategic role that hydrogen will take in the future. but I think it will be closer to all of us than we perhaps expect even now, even in an expo like this.
Okay, so talking about private households, that idea just stuck in my head because you slightly mentioned it. So do you think it is a chance that in the future we will have hydrogen delivered to our homes, maybe use it for heating, something like that? Do you have a personal idea?
Still to see. I mean, it will depend on many factors. Today, okay, electrification for sure has the head start, and I think we should use what is efficient and what is available. But it will depend on the infrastructure. It will depend on the location of some systems. It will depend on how also the hydrogen distribution networks are put in place. But for sure, I think we need to be ready to expect it, even if if it's not the solution in each case. At least that we can expect it for some cases as well.
Okay, yeah, we'll see. Definitely, the future will be here in the future. So. I want to come back to the topic of what you do like on a daily basis. Are there any projects that you can share with us, some project examples what you do?
Yeah, for sure. For related to hydrogen in particular, of course, we do compression. We also do expansion of hydrogen, and I mentioned also compression of some other gases. We've been quite active in the past couple of years in hydrogen compression, mostly dedicated to mobility, so mobility type installations for refueling vehicles, trucks and buses. Mostly in Europe, so I would say we can talk about references mostly in Europe. But if we talk about a nice recent case that is important for us, we just sold the first hydrogen compressor in the US for not mobility but industrial applications. So it's already something, green hydrogen from electrolysis to be compressed for an ammonia plant. And this is also something that for us is important, that we can see the results of our developments coming, the results of our expectations coming, and a bit let's say the market aligning in a way that for us is very interesting in the long term. So I think this is a good flagship case to talk about, and it's also one of the compressors that if you visit us, you can see in the booth as well, and we can discuss a bit the technology and the reference as well.
So you brought one of them here?
Yeah, we hope. It's too big to fit in our booth, but maybe in the following we can bring one as well.
That would be nice. So you're always welcome to raise your hand if you have any questions. So yeah, you talked a little bit about your actions in the European market and also that you do have some operation also internationally. What is your wish for the future regarding the economy? What do you like to see us working together globally? How do we integrate things? Yeah.
Well, we are very, again, compressor-centric, honestly, but yeah, we hope to see a more distributed hydrogen value chain. We see a lot of nice projects today for large-scale installations, but I think also hydrogen is kind of an energy vector that lends itself to a very decentralized infrastructure, and here's somewhere that for us it would be also interesting to work together with a decentralized infrastructure, maybe in clusters in different regions, and distribute it all over the world. I think for us this is exciting. We have operations all over the world, and this is where we also thrive in giving, let's say, standardized products and ready-to-use products for this kind of distributed application. So having an architecture like this, I think it would be nice as a, let's say, as a person also, because it's part of my dream, but also as a company, I think it would be a nice future for the hydrogen economy in the coming years.
Yeah, and talking about the future of the hydrogen economy, we see just when we look at the fair how much it has grown, and we see and hear when we talk to people that we are at a point where we need to massively speed up and scale up for the future to achieve the goals that we have for our future, for our planet. So is that a thing that you also experience, this rapid speed, this rapid need to scale up?
Yeah, this is maybe one of the other challenges that we didn't discuss earlier. The speed of change is sometimes being in par with what development can do. So it's fun for us, or it's motivated for us to be in a business where every project is kind of the next best thing, right? So every time we come up with a new project or we get a new RFQ from one of our customers, it's a new development, and this is very rare, I would say. This is something that we see today, a bit of a challenge to catch up, but also a motivation for continuous development. The world of hydrogen is so young in the end that there's so much to do, and it shows. But yeah, you're right. The speed of the development can also play us sometimes against if we're not prepared for it. And I think it's forcing most companies to be quite agile. Even companies that, let's say, were very well established, and here I also look at ourselves, we find new ways to start developing, let's say, side organizations within the company to be better prepared for these changes. Because it's always, let's say, it's a new business at all levels. And this is something also, from a personal view, quite fun to be a part of in the end.
Yeah, I love that you see all those challenges as a motivation for you and your work. I guess that's a really good attitude towards the whole topic because it is a challenge. And I also like that you mentioned there are big companies that are in the market for like a really long time that now also play a major role in this field. But on the other hand, when we look around, we also see many new companies, startup companies that have new innovative ideas, that bring new products. And I think that both of them are essential. So we have the ones that might be driving research, that might be bringing new ideas into the market. And then we have those large-scale corporations that know how to do business, that know how to do scale-up, that know how to operate in a big business, in a global market. And I think it's a big opportunity to bring those two together.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, I agree completely. I think this is also one of the unique, let's say, challenges is not the right word. I would say more characteristics of the hydrogen world, of the hydrogen economy, is this cooperation, collaboration, communication between a very different scale of companies. And we like very much working with startups because they challenge us in a way that is very, let's say, different than working with normally other established companies. We grew used to only that, but now in hydrogen, and to a lesser degree, or perhaps lesser for this expo, carbon capture and other such applications, it's very, very refreshing to work with startup companies. They bring very new outlooks to the market and really guide us in ways of development, in ways of understanding needs from a different point of view that before it was perhaps different to see. So we really treasure that communication.
Yeah, so I heard carbon capture. That is also a super interesting topic. Maybe not the main topic of this fair, but maybe you can just give a short idea that. So you are looking into that topic as well at Atlas Copco?
Sure. We work, obviously, again, compressor-centric. We work to compress CO2, of course. So we are active in this segment. I think it's tangentially relevant, I would say, because we also see here many applications for hydrogen that involve CO2 capture as a way for methanization or synthetic fuel creation. And that I think is something that in the future will also link these two applications in a nice way and make it sustainable in the end, right? Because we need uses for the CO2 we capture. Okay, we can store it for sure. And we will need uses for the hydrogen we produce. Today, those two things are a big challenge, I think, for both industries. For us, okay, as compressor suppliers, maybe we don't see the full challenge because it's mostly our customers, but off-takers for hydrogen, off-takers for CO2, we also need to think about that for the future.
Yeah, so thank you very much for the nice talk. We are running out of time already, but for everyone in the audience who would like to learn more about the company or want to talk to Alfonso Peschiera and discuss some business opportunities for sustainable partnerships, you're welcome to visit them at their booth. It is F14. That's where you can find them. And once again, it was a pleasure to have you here on stage. So I hope you have a great fair, you find good partners and do great business.
No, thank you very much for the opportunity. It was a very nice talk indeed. And of course, everybody who wants to visit us is invited. We are not so far away from here. And if you need any more information on our hydrogen compressors or hydrogen technologies, please, we are here for you. Thank you. Thank you.